So, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. I welcome you all for one more wonderful session by iDivine Group of Companies. And yes, our today's topic is bridging the gap between higher education and industry. We know that iDivine, igniting brains of young minds, it's a foundation that works in 195 countries, and its main motto is to disseminate education on space and satellite technology. And till now, it has provided free space and satellite education to more than 1.5 lakh students across the world. And yes, we always come with many interesting topics with our speakers who join us from different parts of the globe. So today we'll be discussing about some steps, some measures that are being taken around the world to bridge the gap between higher education and industry. Because we know that the education system that we have, it is not possible to change it so fast, but the requirements of the industry will keep on changing. The technology keeps on advancing every day, every second. And the students, when they come out of the colleges and the universities after completing their graduation, they have it is a must that they must be having the skill set that is required by the industry. So now let us carry forward the discussion and see what are all the measures, the steps that are being taken by the people, by the educators, by the trainers all over the world to bridge the gap between higher education and industry. So let us start with our first speaker, a STEM educator from Greece, Rania Lampova. Welcome, ma'am, for this wonderful conference.
Good afternoon from Greece. Thank you, Dr. Anjum. It's a great honor always to be here invited these amazing events. Always in this effort, unstoppable effort to promote quality education worldwide. And I would like to say that I really appreciate all these space programs in India. I think they're pioneering. So today we're going to explore this very significant issue about how we can bridge the transition between education and labor market. Because the purpose of education is to support, of course, young people in forming their personality and to prepare them for the future as citizens and for the world of work. To do this, education needs to be relevant to its time. This demands the demands that modern society places on individuals also place demands on education. And you know that how younger citizens, especially after the COVID pandemic, pay a high price for the current economic crisis all around the world. The youth unemployment rate has taken upward trends. And another worrying phenomenon is this ongoing skills mismatch between the competencies and the competence levels, we could say, of those who leave school and higher education and the competence level needed in the learning economy. And you know something else, that today's youngster can expect a career that encompasses various types of work. What I want to say is that the previous generation, the generation that grew up in the decade of 60s, changed jobs maybe only once or twice, our parents, for instance. But today's young people will change jobs much more frequently. So career skills will be needed to ensure a successful first, second, and third career. That would be networking, that would be reflection, motivation, qualities, research into opportunities, and making choices that actually match the career prospects. And all the skills will have to be, of course, learned. So the transitions between education and labor market are therefore in a main strategic line in the working programs of all education councils, and is also a common red line in the national education policies. This topic is very important also in the European Union agenda, in the Europe 2020 strategy, and in the communication apprenticeships in particular. So I would say that the first perspective is the perspective of the skills needed beyond the school and the competencies required in a quickly evolving, highly competitive labor market, always within a framework of sustainable development in professional and personal life and as a citizen. And this includes reflection on labor market needed competencies, lifelong participation, inclusion, career management. A second perspective is on transitions from both vocational education, technical vocational education at secondary level and higher education to the workplaces. A way of bridging the gap between the labor market and the world of education and training is to give students a labor market experience on the work floor in or outside the school, during the training pathway or afterwards. The European Commission is promoting apprenticeship, which is one model, and another model which is called work-based learning. A specific feature of learning in the workplace is very popular is what we call the German dual learning. Dual learning is strongly promoted in recent documents by European Commission. So the key policy challenges include responsiveness to labor market needs alongside inclusion, career guidance, finance, of course, governance, teaching quality, integration with workplace learning, collaboration with other sectors of education, qualifications, assessment, of course. And when we talk about skills, compared to the past, the business community is placing a stronger emphasis on social and communication skills nowadays. And of course, what we call not only hard, but also soft skills, because in almost all professions, people are having to discuss things and reach a common position. So being able to work together with many parties and people from different cultural backgrounds is an important skill. Of course, the ability to handle ICT tools for almost every profession, the ability to handle data, technology has also opened up access to knowledge. So knowing how and where you can find reliable information and the ability to then select and validate it's expected from every member of society. And the same is true for safe and respectful communication via social media. So when we talk about bridging the academia and industry gap, the academia, I think, should promote a multidisciplinary approach to research and learning. That means it should develop a vision framework and strategies plans that first could identify promising opportunities for collaboration with industries, promote long-term and short-term strategic partnership with flexibility work that best attract collaboration from both parties, provide, of course, regular dialogues in the form of seminars or lectures that could bring both sides, academic industry, together for cordial relationships, and also, of course, relevant government agencies, institutions should strive to stimulate collaboration between academia and industries by putting different types of mechanisms to attract academia and research and development activities in order to enhance local learning and technology transfer. And this means that we need innovation-friendly regulatory regimes to stimulate the human capital at universities, polytechnics, colleges of education, research institutions. And this will attract also our local industries and our multinational companies, which, of course, are expanding their global innovation networks. So academia must develop enduring networks and relationships that are based on mutual trust with industry. Leaders in academia must identify the importance of collaboration with industries and important strategies to develop competitive and standard academic environment. External funding also sources are very important, and always, I think that is very significant, up-to-date relevant research topics, collaboration through relevant research topics, and focus on the collaborative research activities. Of course, all the benefits of this collaboration between academia and industry include how to enhance research collaboration in effective ways, and develop network and effective dialogue with actors, within different actors. So besides, when we talk about now education, besides a contemporary curriculum, hands-on experience in the workplace is important for the match between education and labor market. How this experience can be achieved can vary from workplace internships during full-time study to on-the-job training. One of the type that I mentioned before is apprenticeship, is very popular and it has become very effective. Apprenticeships combine alternate company-based training. That could be a period of practical work experience in workplace, combined company-based training with school-based education. And studies have shown that apprentices have better job matches and experience shorter periods of unemployment before finding jobs. My first job. And another important, scheme we could say is a short cycle higher education. This happens also in Europe. It's a new pathway for learners aiming at the professional qualification at the intermediate level. Several European countries have creating such learning paths in different forms. When we talk about this gap, we should always have in mind technical vocational education also. We need to ensure that vocational education is in general agile. That means that it adapts swiftly to labor market needs and provides quality learning opportunities for young people. So it needs agile reforms and strong focus on flexibility, reinforced opportunities for work-based learning, and improved quality assurance. So vocational education programs should offer the balanced mix of vocational, including technical skills, well aligned to all economic cycles, evolving jobs, working methods, and key competencies, and including digital, transversal, green, basic skills, of course, and other life skills, which provide stronger foundations for resilience, lifelong learning, lifelong employability, social inclusion, active citizenship, and personal development. And of course, this program should be developed, should be delivered through an appropriate mix of open, digital, and participative learning environments. All these curricula and programs should be, of course, regularly updated, should be relevant, building on skills intelligence. That means that we need graduate tracking system, skills anticipation mechanism. I think that the most important is that we need to take into consideration vulnerable groups, opportunities for all. It should be more inclusive. Learner Center offer access face-to-face and digital or blended learning, flexible modular pathways based on both formal and informal learning. So all the internationalization strategies support this approach to international cooperation in vocational education and training. Internationalization, so it's important also. And why? Because there are many opportunities, for instance, in Europe for mobility, opportunities for learning mobility of vocational learners and staff, including virtual mobility, long duration mobility, mobility to third countries, to developing countries are in place. This is also important for you, for young people. So we would say that the action is needed in order to prevent the exclusion of young people from the labor market. The challenge is now on policymakers and business leaders to help retool and train these young people for the new world of work. Of course, with policymakers is about Ministry of Education and Ministry of Development. So yes, I want to say that before concluding that very important skills nowadays that students need to have is of course on cloud computing, on artificial intelligence, blockchain, on data analysis, on software development, on user experience design, project management. All these are important skills, analytical skills. with all this, we are, as I said before, we should equip young people with practical skills and tools in order to practice innovation, because for most youth around the world, education is not easily accessible, and even if it's accessible, it does not guarantee access to quality employment opportunities. Critical thinking, problem framing skills are important for workforce readiness. Thank you very much. I know I have talked a lot. Sorry for this. And thank you very much for your invitation.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. That was really a very great start for the discussion today. And yes, as said by you, there are a number of skills which the students need to know about them, soft skills, hard skills, and besides that, they have to be exposed to practical training into the companies. That is very relevant nowadays.
I want to say something. Sorry for interrupting you. In Greece, there is a bias about this collaboration between academy and
this is the main motto of our event, that today we are promoting. We are trying to discuss more on this. And let me invite our next speaker, Dr. Revati ma'am.
Sorry, Dr. Anjum, I want to say something. Yes, can you hear me? Dr. Anjum, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Dr. Anjum, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Sorry, I wanted to say something that it's important that in Greece, in general, in Europe, there is a bias, and it's a taboo, because people don't want this collaboration still between a school and industries. I don't know why this happens. I mean, they have fear of this collaboration between private and public factor, still in the 21st century. However, I think through hackathons, hackathons, I don't know if there are in India also, hackathons promote innovative ideas. So we need the companies in order to promote innovative ideas. This has started to happen in Greece also. And as I said before, I think the most important skills now, this is the European Union framework, are digital, transversal, and anything has to do with environment. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, of course. Yes, as we were discussing, so let me invite our next speaker, Dr. Revati ma'am, Assistant Professor from Siyangar Institute, Pune.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much, Anjum Qureshi ma'am, Engineer Ravi Shankar Kumar sir, Dr. P.K. Rajput sir. Good evening to all of you. And thank you for having me here today. Yes, really, I am honored to address such an esteemed audience and discuss a topic that holds a great significance in today's world. That is the bridging the gap between higher education and the industry. For employability, higher education institute should design a curriculum that ma'am also said like that. So the higher education institute should design a curriculum and which act as a bridge or a roadmap between the employer and the employee. So bridging the skill gap is crucial for the success of industries, economies, and higher education institutions. So to address this challenge, we must focus on two key aspects. Number one, that is the increasing access and completion rates and evolving to meet the demands of future career opportunities. So, how can we bridge this gap effectively? So, let's explore into some strategies and initiatives that can help us achieve this goal. So firstly, the industry collaboration is key. And we must establish the strong partnership between the higher education institutions and the industries. So there is an increasing access to higher education, and that is essential. So by providing more opportunities for individuals to pursue the higher education, so we can ensure that a large pool of talent is available to meet the needs of the industries. And this can be achieved through initiatives such as by giving scholarships, financial aid programs, flexible learning options, and partnership with the industry to offer the relevant courses. And secondly, that is very important, the curriculum alignment is very essential. So completion rate must be improved, and it is not enough to provide the access. We must also support students in successfully completion their education. So this can be achieved by implementing effective student support system, a student support service also, then mentoring programs, academic assistance, and creating a favorable learning environment, and that fosters students' engagement and the success. So besides these higher education institutions, it needs to evolve aligned with the changing career opportunities. So this involves staying updated with the evolving demands of the industries, and ensuring that the curriculum and the programs are designed to equip the students with the skills and the knowledge that required for the future careers. So this may involve the incorporating emerging technologies, industry internships, practical training that ma'am also said like that, and the real world projects into the educational experience. So we are going to express some main points here. Does higher education institute facilitate the development for employability? Do employers achieve ample skilled employable graduates? Then does employability skills and the educational means, that is the professional as well as the technical, both impact the employability? Next, and that is very important, does graduates employability skill be enhanced through engagement in required activities in terms of employees' perception? Yes, of course, there are some challenges. And as per the view, according to the AICTE data, is more than 60% of 10 lakhs engineering graduating from the technical institution across the country every year remain unemployed. I'm giving this source from the AICTE 2019. And more than 40% unable to find the qualitative talent or the required skill. 90% of the jobs are skill-based, and less than 2% of population, the age group is mentioned 20 to 28 years, is currently enrolled for the vocational training or skill-based education. So the current education system focuses heavily on rote learning, and that resulting in a poor quality of education and a lack of application oriented skills. So to address this gap, it is necessary to provide the foundation training programs for freshers before they enter into a job market. And additionally, the Indian education system should shift towards being more application oriented for sustainable long outcomes. Yes, of course, skills are most in demand. So our data reveals that the employers are seeking candidates with specialized technical and the digital skills, as well as strong soft skills, but skills lacking in the workplace. Interviews with employers indicating a shortage of candidates with strong communication, problem solving, and the critical thinking skills. And for the successful bridge programs, we found several examples of successful bridge programs between the higher education and the employers, and that including the apprenticeships, mentorships, and the cooperative programs. Ma'am also gives some hints on that. But globally, the stakeholders such as employers, educators, policymakers, and training organizations have organized the significance of tackling the skill gap, the technical and the learning across various fields, including the general, then academic, then vocational, technical, should incorporate the strategies and that consider the learning environment, technical methods, and the support factors. Yes, of course, to boost the country's economy and address the skill gap, it is crucial to increase access and completion rates in higher education, particularly in the professional and the technical field. So these strategies should be tailored to the subject matter and the needs of the learners, that promoting the reciprocity, cooperation, and development of the career opportunities. Yes, of course. To better understand the technical teaching and learning, of course, there is one model, and that model places the learners at the center. So, in essence, sorry, I'm not okay. So, teaching and learning environment is also important. A calm, well-disciplined, and orderly learning environment is also important. Then a culture of aspiration and achievement of all the learners. Next is the purposefulness and the stimulating learning. In conclusion, the role of higher education in bridging the skills gap and related factors in professional institutes, ultimately seeking to find the solutions and draw the meaningful conclusions to address the problem. So addressing the skills gap requires the multifaceted approach by increasing access and the completion rates of the higher education and evolving to meet the changing career opportunities, so we can bridge the skills gap and prepare individuals to strive in the economy of the future. Thank you. Thank you, Anjuna.
Yeah, that was again a wonderful presentation, Revati ma'am. And yes, I must say, lots of important points that have been said by you. And of course, like if you were talking about engineering graduates, yes, this is the practical situation. So there are thousands of graduates coming out of the engineering colleges, but they lack the basic technical skills, and especially they lack communication skills. Especially if I talk about the students coming from smaller towns. So yes, this is a
I'm audible, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Now.
Yeah, yes, this is the biggest problem nowadays the students are facing. So yes, it's not only that we should be having just teaching them the subjects, but we should be having a good learning environment for them. We have to help them to develop so many skills. We have to help the students to know what are all the skills that will be required. You are an engineering graduate, you are a law graduate, you are a management graduate. So according to your field, what are all the requirements that you will be needing when you just step out of the college? That was a great presentation, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much. And now I would like to invite the next speaker, Charuta ma'am from Pune.
Hello. Yeah, hi. Hello, everyone, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak on this platform. So this is my second time over here, and it is really a pleasure to be here. So Basically, when we talk about bridging the gap between higher education and industry, we need to identify and specify which gap we are talking about. Because when we talk about a gap at different levels, we see different like if we start identifying, there are numerous gaps at different levels and at different stages of learning and how we are connecting the industry and the education. So first of all, if we consider at the level of learning what we are teaching the students, uh, we have been following an education. We have been following the educational standards and uh, methods that have been the same throughout the ages. They haven't been changed, or rather, massively. There are no major changes as such. There are some small, tiny, fragmented changes, and however, there are no there is no change in perspective. I put it, if I may put it that way, that we are introducing different strategies and methods, but the perspective and the connection between the student and the teacher, there is still a gap. Like the teacher is on a different platform, and the students are completely in a different area. So the connection seems to be lacking somewhere. That the teacher is not able to identify with the students. The students are not able to identify with the teacher, and it seems alienating. So at this level, not being able to understand their issues uh, causes a major causes this can be said to be one gap. Another thing is that education is in a very transformational stage. People are experimenting, like I said in my previous presentation. People are experimenting with new education, uh, new methods in education, new perspective in education, student-led learning, student-focused learning, rather than syllabus or teacher focused learning or teaching as such. So basically, we can talk about educators and how they are causing a difference, how they are leading to a difference, why we need educators, and what impact can they create as opposed to or in comparison with teachers as such. So when I talk about educators, it is more about providing and facilitating the students with what they need and what they are asking for. For instance, we have placed subjects like English, Hindi, Maths, EVS, science, social studies, and we are teaching it throughout the years to all the students in the same manner. But every student has a different way of learning, and if we and students need this was a really amazing realization, or something that a student of mine like caused in me. So when I said that we are here to help you, he asked me why. I said, okay, don't you need help? No. So he's okay with whatever he has. He knows a lot of things, and somewhere we need to acknowledge this. This is where we are lacking. That students know something. We consider them as blank slates throughout 10 years. How stupid could we be? And this the students help me realize day in and day out. So they show me what they know, and they like while I explore through them, while I talk to them, it is a privilege, I must say, that I get to know more and more about them and what they know. Uh, Another thing we need to think about is systemic changes. I have been talking to a medical student currently, and she said that I'm waiting for counseling since 4 months. And whilst we have shortage of doctors, we are not even 2 lakh students are waiting to be, are waiting to be employed or even allotted their own degrees and educational institutions. so that they can provide their services while they are learning. She says we also provide services while we are learning, but there is a 4 months gap and there is a lot of there is a shortage of doctors. So this connect is not happening. Uh, Basically, she was talking about prioritizing time. As much as it is important, it is also important that we we provide opportunities to the youth to receive education, whatever their choice of field is. For instance, if there are artists, who uh, who work by themselves to get into the industry, and there's a very little connect of industry and the artists. Although art can contribute greatly to how industry functions and to what level, uh, to create an impact basically. So when we talk about creativity, creativity is nothing without art. So art is a way of creative expression. Even science needs art, which is least acknowledged. Also, while both of you were talking about a multidisciplinary approach. So basically, multidisciplinary approach could work very amazingly if we acknowledge art and its contributions in the field of science, and we try to inculcate it, we invite it within the sciences or within the uh, even the MBA, BBA or marketing and social whatever social interactions or endeavors we are having. So art could really play an amazing role. It could be a big, it could be extended to a great extent if I talk on this, but I think I should highlight only the points of what I would. Yeah. So second is that if we could have a strength focused approach. So usually it is a deficiency focused approach is what I think. Like, it is kids who don't understand. Why not we consider them as the creative and the curious ones, who are eager to learn new things and experiment with different things and uh, do something different every day, who have the courage and willingness to do everything, to do new things every day, to change and to modify and to let those modifications come about. So this is something that as adults also we can learn from the kids, and this could lead to amazing innovations. um, Somewhat it seems like many adults are keep on losing this day by day. Secondly, why not consider youth, serving the youth than serving the needy? When we talk about employment, we always talk about employing the unemployed. So why not consider their skill sets, what skill sets they have? Although we are talking about developing skill set or providing education or for bridging the gap, providing training for skill set, why not talk about the skill set that they already possess? And why not acknowledge it and then just direct it? Most of the times we just need to direct it. We don't need to provide them training for any uh, so-called 21st century skills like communication. And so in my school there are many students in who after passing their 10th, they look out for employment for their family's financial needs. Although this could be considered as a hindrance by some in education, I would consider this also as a boon because they get an exposure to the industry and what skills they require. So they develop a greater awareness than those who keep on studying and just studying till their bachelor's and masters and PhD and such education. So it's more like we consider them as financially needy, but we don't acknowledge their skill sets. Because when I talk to these students, as opposed to the students who are, protected and kept secure and safe in a shell, who haven't been exposed to the external world, uh, these students who have been exposed in such a way really show shining capacities and abilities in them, which are really hidden because of maybe their language, which is not, as per the norms of probably the books or research or higher education, if we call it. But they have the skills that are required to survive in the industry. I guess more than the village children or the children who have least opportunities, the educated children need training for 21st century skills more. And I guess the best training is just exposing them to the industry, because this is what I have seen through like my own experience or even people around me, how they have developed in them. Uh, Thirdly, I think it is important to invest in educators, because we need to understand that we cannot replace teachers just in a click. So we have teachers, and what if we, promote or accommodate experience and expertise, industry experience and expertise in them. For instance, if we are teaching science and if the students want to do something that is application based, what if we, first of all, there are two options. First of all, we hire educators or people who are experts in that field or experienced in that field, have some years of experience. Or also, secondly, we can do just like we promote training in teachers, we can also promote seeking industry expertise and industry experience, or subject expertise or industry experience in their own fields, in their own capacities, in regard with their own caliber. And I guess there are a lot of points I could talk about, but it's a shortage of time. I would really like to conclude with one important point, which is future directives. Like we are expecting a fourth revolution somewhere where the AI is artificial intelligence is coming about, and it's here. It's here. There's ChatGPT, there's DAL-E, and it is just a beginning, but still it is leading to threatening feelings, but along with it also different opportunities. So it is causing changes in not just our physical spaces but also our mental lives, and people are talking about it, people are using it, people are, I think we also have a seminar arranged soon after this one. I don't remember where I saw that, but we really need to consider that how we are going to help the students accommodate with this, adjust with this new approaching revolution, industrial revolution, because it's more like we have been thinking about careers, different careers, and we have been thinking about careers as subjects like doctor, engineer, psychologist. We learn psychology, we learn medicine, we learn art, we learn this and that. But all of this is going to be taken over by or challenged to a great extent by the upcoming artificial intelligence and technologies, new technologies. So how are we going to help the coming generation think about careers? I have been talking to individuals in regard with I guess I would like to stop here, and yeah, thank you for the opportunity again.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. That is really great. And yes, as you were talking about the AI, and but let me tell you that the companies who are working with AI and with the latest technologies, they are unable to find experts to work in it. But in some of the places, if we see, if we just talk about the normal jobs that we are talking, yes, the youth are facing unemployment. But in the specialized field, still we need people to work over it, to have over it. So sometimes the experts say that as the people fear that AI is going to take over their jobs, that is not going to happen certainly. Well, there are mixed reactions over that. And as you were talking about, yes, the skill sets, again, And one more point that I was listening keenly when you were speaking is about upgrading the educators also. We say that, okay, the students should be having the skills, but even the teachers, we teachers have to know what are the demands of the students, and we have to upgrade ourselves. We have to upgrade our knowledge according to it. Because I know the present day students, they will very quickly, you just speak over a topic very quickly, they will just Google it and find out, and they are there to question. So you said but this is not this way. This is wrong, ma'am. This is wrong. You should have done so they are smarter than us. So even we teachers have to keep on upgrading ourselves. That was a very great point. Thank you for joining, and thank you for
And
such a
actually,
wonderful presentation.
yeah, I would
Yeah.
really like to add that we really need to consider their, their confidence and their courage and their what they know, because I have
Yeah.
been, and also promote critical thinking. This
Yes.
is what I want to highlight, because what thing is that today I was in a classroom of somewhere seventh, and the student said, so I said that I'm a counseling psychologist, and I told what I do. And then they said, ma'am, don't, let's not do it this way. Let's do it this way. You tell us a problem. I asked them, you tell me a problem that you find relevant to yourself and you don't have a solution to it. So let's figure out a problem, all of us together. So this one of the students said, ma'am, let's not do it this way. Let's do it this way, that you tell us a problem and then we'll give you a solution. So the discussion went to a really different level altogether. Although we don't have immediate answers to every problem, right? We need to figure things out, and there are creative ways to do that. But I guess just providing them with that space brings out the best in them, and also, helps us learn more and more about it. Also, that the point that I was saying, that in artificial intelligence, children really need to be self-aware. In regard with interest inventories, I am still really dissatisfied with them, that they are still providing, careers that are outdated, that would be considered outdated today. And I guess even if we add on different interests, different fields in interest inventory today, they will still be outdated in not more than 2 years, I could say. So we really need to be upgraded, not just as teachers, not just as for supporting students, but also as counselors, and promote self-awareness to a more greater level, because today we need self-awareness more than career and professional awareness, but also we need to have the skills to develop self-awareness to even a greater degree in the coming
Yeah, of
generation.
course. Of
Yeah.
course, ma'am. Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am. And I would like to invite our next speaker, Dr. Jemi Sudhakar, ma'am. Dr. Jemi?
Yes, Anjum, I'm here. Thank you.
Yeah,
Yes.
please go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. I greet everyone who gathered here to listen to the wonderful topic, the bridging gap between the higher education and the career of every child. Thanking the opportunity. I would like to stress on only which is very important. The higher education, what we try to cater to children. I was listening to all the speakers, so now I would like to speak from a different perspective as an educator. The higher education which we should cater to our learners must be a rich cultural and scientific asset, which would enable every learner to be personally, cognitively, socially, linguistically, emotionally developed and promote highest economic resources in future to live and to lead a successful life. If at all we are going to give something to children, it should be knowledge, skills, and understanding, which would facilitate them in their future life. The useful education, what is that we are going to give to children? Especially life skills, transversal skills, which needs to be embedded with lot of research and lot of exploration in this world. If we are not going to focus on the elements of 21st century education, especially critical thinking, problem solving, critical thinking, problem solving, communication, collaboration, and creativity, we cannot ensure that our learners will be successful in future. What are we focusing? What are we aiming? What is our goal? What is the objective? Our higher education should ensure that every child's life would be successful in future. The career path of every child should be assessed, acknowledged, admonished, and also they should be successful in their future with all blessings. What is that kind of education we are giving today in our school? Of course, artificial intelligence was ruling. Now ChatGPT is ruling the world. Are we prepared as educators? I always tell in all my meetings, we learned in 21st century, taught by 18th century teachers learned in 19th century. And we are teaching the 21st century children. Are we prepared as educators? Have we upgraded ourselves? How many of us know about ChatGPT? I know very well. When I give my mobile phone to my son, who was so small, maybe before 20 years I'm talking about, he could do wonders in my mobile phone than me. That time it was only a button phone. Now imagine my son operating the iOS Apple phone. What not? Can I compete with him? This is the very, very, very important moment for every one of us to realize our responsibility. Thanking IDYM for bringing this topic. It's a real challenging topic. It's a mind-blowing topic which is going to create a history in the ear of every educator. Who's going to make us introspect today? What are we going to speak about? We are talking about the government. We're talking about the People's Society UN Sustainable Goal. But where are we? Are we prepared to meet the challenges of our children? Are we prepared to cater to the needs of our learners in the classroom? Are we aware of the differentiation? There are 5 types of learners in the class. Have you ever thought in higher education when this particular child, prodigy child, is going to go to a profession, maybe after 1 or 2 years, they come to us in grade 11 and 12, most of the children, and they leave us. When he chooses his path, am I a vessel? Am I the right person to guide the child, to complement the child, to educate the child, to empower the child, to enchant the child, to help the child to explore new opportunities in this world, that he would be an entrepreneur? We are creating only engineers, doctors. Have you ever thought we should create rulers of this world? How many of us have ever thought? I would say very proudly, I will always tell my children, you are going to rule this world, because after 50 years, what kind of legacy are we going to leave in this world for every one of our child? Each and every child that passes through this hand. Are we really introspecting today to imbibe our values and culture? Are we really ready to inculcate such kind of system? Are we ready to change today? When we educators are not ready to change, how can you expect the learners to change? How could we expect the learners to rule this world tomorrow? It's a prime, eminent responsibility, dear beloved educators, all over the world who is watching me today. I would confess with all humility, I am ready to learn even from my little dog and a little child of kindergarten today. How many of us are ready today? Let's not be egoistic. Let's not be selfish. Let's come out of our own comfort zone. Let's all submit and surrender ourselves today. We would make a policy today. We would make a vouch. We will ensure that we will make a promise and a goal that we are going to rule this world. We are going to rule this world by transforming the educational sector. We are going to create a history in the era of education. Every one of us are going to make a prominent decision today. After this meeting, at the end of this meeting, or in between this meeting, behind or before or between, it's we who have to change, not the children, not the educational system. We are the educators. Who is the system? If not you and me, who is dealing with flesh and blood every day? Are we dealing with machine? How many of us are compassionate? How many of us are confident? How many of us are having the ability to conquer our own egos and come out of our comfort zone and to meet the needs of every individual child in the class? Every educator must ensure that I will reach even the 40th child in my class. That is the success. If an educator feels that I'm going to meet the needs of 5 kinds of learners, gifted, topper, average, mediocre, below average, late bloomers. If I'm going to meet their needs as a teacher, planning everything individually, designing their activities productively, not wasting a single second of the child in the class. If you waste 1 minute of a child, there are 30 children in the class, 30 minutes got wasted. Imagine a teacher wasting 40 minutes, 30 into 40. Boundless. I'm speaking here with agony in my heart because in my experience, over the years of experience of 29 years, I've seen educators who go for substitution just sitting there in a corner. They never even think that they should use their knowledge and skill and do something for those children. That's why I always design my substitutions and give them in a tailor-made way. This is what you're going to do in your class. I'm not going to ask you to sit in front. This is the task. Are we ready to plan it in such a way? We just think of 9 periods a day, but 9 periods sitting in the same place. My 3 children who's going to rule this world, we are snubbing their energy. Education should be scaffolding. Education should not be a thing which puts teachers' ideology into the child's mind. Never ever. If you are going to have a traditional classroom, in your classroom with 40 children seated, standing in front and doing a lecture, I call you as an idiot because there is a cleverest crow before you who can go bring a stone and drop into the pot and drink water. You must realize the ability of every child who's sitting before you. And it is the prime eminent duty of every teacher to understand the previous history of the child and plan and prepare learning opportunities to children, to provide them appropriate activities, acknowledging the children as they are, accepting them as they are, admonishing them, and approving their ability. Teachers never ever say, I know more than you, because the child who is before you is cleverer than you, cleverest than you, because he is the masterpiece of the Almighty God. He is going to rule this world soon. Mind-blowing effort. The children are before you. Just hand over the responsibilities to them. Are we ready to hand over the responsibility to them? We want to go start. We want to speak for 40 minutes. Have you ever thought the child can explain the topic better than you? How many of us are following flipped classroom method in our classrooms? It's our prime eminent responsibility to follow the flipped classroom method. Give a task the previous day. I vouch to every teacher and request every teacher. Today, I beg every teacher to plan for these kinds of activities in your class. I remember during my Cambridge International Diploma, when I had the tie-up with Cambridge University, that taught me is still lingering in my mind. Always get into the class with a snapshot profile. Understand the child's need and go into the class. When you plan and prepare, your activity that you design for the child should be child appropriate and also child friendly, doable for the child. And the child should be given freedom to enjoy and explore in an enchanted environment. The child will feel liberated and get connected with us. How many of us connect the real life examples? We talk only theoretically. Are we preparing the children for future? When you take a topic, you must connect it with daily life of the child. What is happening in the market? What is happening in this police station? What is happening at the railway station? What is happening in the surgery room? What's happening in the space? That kind of environment, when you create and give it to the children, connecting them with their daily life, collaboration will happen. The child will be strong, mentally well, because the child wants to explore. The happiest period for the child is physical education period, because they can play. How many of us allow our children to play in our class? We think if they get up itself, it's a crime. If they open their mouth, it's a crime. No, my dear educators, productive noise is always allowed in the class. Children should be allowed to experience the learning. The experiential learning alone would cultivate a great joy within the child's mind. What kind of learners do we want in our classroom? In higher education, a boy should not get up, a boy should not write, a boy should not talk, the girl should not look. No, there's nothing that can be implemented within the child, because the child is born to have freedom, joyful learning environment, happy learning environment. It will create a happy citizen in future. No corruption in this world, no bad things in this world, no evil deeds in the world. If you and I are going to create that kind of healthy environment in this world, We all are liberated from the corona because of a positive vibe that we spread it around by the grace of the Almighty God. Are we spreading the same today in our classroom? Where is the essential agreement that you and I need to make in the class? How many of our classrooms are successful with essential agreements? Teachers never even bother to give an attention grabber to the child. It is a prime, eminent responsibility of every educator to realize our stewardship today. What is our stewardship? Our stewardship is nothing but to let the child know his ability, self-realization, self-direction, self-learning, self-pondering, self-thinking. The child is capable of doing much more and much more and much more things. It is our duty to ensure that every child is enjoying a blessed education with all resources and materials available. Allow the child. Tell the children, sky is your limit. You just say, no? Try this in your life, I'm telling you. Even today, I tried it in my assembly. I made all my children jump. I said, jump and touch the sky. Sky is your limit. The joy that children have, the happiness children have in their life is beyond comprehension, beyond ability. It cannot be said, it cannot be spelled. The joy and happiness that children enjoy when we ensure that we have given them liberty, we have given them freedom, we have given them joy, we have given them compassion, we have given them communication, collaboration in a happy environment. I promise you that our children will be promising. They will have the brightest future in the world. It is we who have to change, transform with tenacity, with perseverance, with patience, with lot of passion, with positivity to ensure that we make our children perch on the pinnacle of success in their future life. I believe that definitely this seed which I sowed today, ignited fire, would catch up the fire, and we will innovate and we will create intelligent future generation so that every child will be an icon of values and the emblem of excellence. Thus, I salute IDYM once again, thanking everybody for patiently listening to me. Signing off, Dr. Jemmy Sudhakar. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That was really a very energetic speech, I can say. And I can see all the speakers, those who have joined with us, you can see all their faces, their reactions. Yes, of course, that was really very energetic. And yes, we always think of changing the students. We say that the students don't have the students lack the skills, that's all. But I think, yes, on the very first place, we should be changing ourselves. That was really a great message given by you. We have to convert our students not into only into doctors and engineers. We have to convert them into rulers. They have to rule the world and they have to know it. That was a very great message, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you very much for joining. And thank you very much once again for this energetic speech. And yes, now let's move on to the next speaker for today's discussion. I would like to invite Dr. Emmanuel from Malawi. Dr. Emmanuel.
Hello.
Yeah, good evening. So please go ahead.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. This is Dr. Emmanuel Akwirana Ezekiel. I'm speaking all the way from the warm heart of Africa, Malawi. I'm glad to be part of this great team today when we are looking into the bridging the gap between the higher education and the industries. So far, I will start by saying that the source of all the information that the industries are using all over the world comes from education. And those educators are the ones that are learning all these factories that we see, whatever the factory is producing, but those things are produced because of the teacher, of the educator, of the tutor, because he's the one who trains all those people out there. So I would like to say that there must be a very good connection between the higher education and the industries, because all those people who are working in the industries, they come from the higher education. So if they have been given a very good education there at the higher education, then they are going to produce very good products in the industries. Now, if we talk about those medications that we get from the hospitals, they depend from the from the educators, because they are the ones who trained these people to produce all what we know, all these medicines and the like, all those products that we have, all those food that we eat, all those things that we buy from the shops, from wherever we are. But they are produced from the industries, from different companies. And these are the people who went to school. These are the people who participated in higher education. So today, looking into this thing, it is really very, very important, because what we are seeing is that we should also take time to think of the teachers, to think of the trainers, to think of the tutors who are who are playing a great role in producing those people, those managers, those engineers, all those people who are out there. So we need also to put our focus on the higher education. It is really very important. It is the heart of the products that we have, because without the higher education, that is training our children, that is teaching our children in different ways, that means we may not have good companies, we may not have good industries, we may not have companies or industries that are producing good products. It's because of the high education. It's because of the teachers, because of the tutors, because of the trainers who are out there. They are training our students to become engineers. They are training our students to become the technicians. They're training our children to become all those people out there. You know, even if we look into farming, we need people who are well trained. We need all those agriculture advisors. So those agriculture advisors, they went to school. They met a teacher one day in their life. That's why they are there. Without the teacher, they would not have been there. So they got information from the teacher, and then they are going down on the ground where they are now training the farmers on new methods of farming. So also when we look into the industries, for them to produce all these things that we have today, now we depend on the higher education. So we are saying that there must be a very good connection between these people. And I would also like to say that some of these students should also have an opportunity to visit some of our industries to learn how things are being produced there. Because in so doing, they will be able to do things practically. When it comes into class, they will be able to do whatever they want to do, because they have learned practically from the industries, and then they can easily apply that knowledge in their lessons in class. So there is a need that our students should also have time to go into the industries to learn how things are going there, because they will see with their own eyes what is happening in the industries, how people are producing some of these things. So practically, they will build some connections between the high education and the industries. There must be a very good relationship between these two, because they are working hand in hand in producing what we see on the ground, in producing what we see in the shops, in producing whatever we need in our daily lives. So having a very good connection between the industries and the higher education is important. And the other thing, we should also look into the living standards of the teachers, because these are the ones that are trying their best in order to impart knowledge to the students, to impart knowledge to all those people who are there, those who are graduating today to become engineers in the companies or in the industries. I have seen one time in Malawi, where when I went into a shop, I was trying to buy something from there. Unfortunately, when I was trying to use the thing that I bought from the shop, I found that it had some problems. So I went back to the shop and said, okay, can you see this? So they said, no. I think it's the problem from the factory. I said, so if you say it's the problem from the industry, from the factory, what is it that you want to tell me? Does it mean that those people who are manufacturing this thing are not well trained? So they said, maybe. So these are some of the problems or some of the challenges that we are having nowadays, that sometimes if those people who are in the industries, are not well educated, they may produce goods that are not of standards. They may produce goods that are of low standards that cannot compete on the market. So as the result, if it's a country that's producing such type of goods, then it may not have may not compete on the global market, because the global market is looking for products that are of good quality, products that are so competitive. So in our countries, we need to have a very good connection between the industries, between the higher education, between the tutors, between those learning education, so that if we have very good connection, then we are going to produce good engineers. We are going to produce good officers from there. And when it comes to industries where they are employed, they are going to produce good products there. So then if the country wants to sell outside those products, then we may have markets on the global market. Why? Because we are producing good products in our country. So this will help the development of the country, not only the development of that particular industry, but the development of the whole country. Because if the country is producing quality goods and then it has got a market on the global market, that means the country is going to get a lot of forex. So in so doing, that's developing the country. So it starts by the teacher in the higher education. It starts from that particular person there. So if that person is delivering, if that person is imparting very good skills to the students, then we end up having producing a lot of good and quality goods in our country and competitive industries in our country, so that we can have markets on the global market. So what I wanted to say is that the gap that has been there should be filled now. The gap that has been there between the industry and the higher education should be filled now in a way that the industries and the higher education should work together. They should have time to visit each other. The children should have education visits to the industries so that they can learn practically how these goods are produced in the industries. I think this will help our children to have an idea of what they are learning in class, because when they see, that will remain in their heads, so that they can easily apply those knowledge when they are in class. So seeing is better than just learning. Theory sometimes is good, but also practically, there is need for them to go into the industries and learn. So this can only happen when there is a very good relationship between the higher education and the industries, so that we can fill the gap that has been there, because these two are one. They can work together. These ones are preparing people to work in the industry. So then once the people are in the industry now working, they should also consider those people who are still in the school, so that they should learn before they come to work in the industry. They should have an idea so that they can produce better and good works in either in the or also at a school. Practically, they can produce a lot of goods. When you go to China, you find that most of the things that are produced in China, they are produced by the students. They learn how to produce things while they are still in school. So this is a very good idea. This is a very good idea, because if our children learn how to do things while they are still at school, they will help us a lot when they go to the industries, because they already have the skills, they already have the knowledge, they already have the experiences. So what I wanted to say is that let us encourage our tutors, our trainers, our teachers to have a very good relationship with the industries, and all those managers, managing directors of all these industries should also go to the schools and then talk with them, invite the students to visit the industries so that they should learn practically. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity on this bright team. Thank you very much. Thank you, Baba. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Emmanuel. That was really a very great talk. And yes, we need to have collaborations with the industries, all the educational institutions. They should be having MOUs with the industries so that the students can go, they can visit, they can have trainings, they can go for internships in the industries, because it is not just about having few skill set, but they should be having a knowledge to convert whatever they learn in the schools. They should be having the knowledge to convert it into applications, to convert into real life examples. That was really a great talk. Thank you very much for joining with us. And let's now move to the next speaker. We have Fabina ma'am. Yes, Fabina ma'am is there. Ma'am, please, I hand over the session to you. We're waiting to hear from you. Yes, ma'am, please.
Greetings, everyone. Yeah, this is Fabina Colasso. Mostly, all the points are covered by everyone, but still I have few that I would like to go ahead with. Basically, the universities, the policymakers, the education providers, and the industries have to collaborate to bridge this gap. But how? Because education, we are just providing education on the basic terms that is there. As many other speakers specified, that the education is saturated. It is there at one particular monotonous way that we are delivering the education. We have to understand what are the skills required. Okay, now where do we search for these things? First is the local industries where the employers are going to be hired. So what we are doing is we have started such thing at our campus. We are serving a campus of 2,000 students, and graduates, around 500 graduates are there from our campus, which moves every year out for employment. So a segment of these graduates, we have started with the course called as vocational studies, that is skill-based studies. Whichever company is trying to hire them, we are experimenting this with a batch of 25 students at this particular moment. We went to the industries, we understood what are the skills required by them. The students were interviewed, they were selected, and now we have a blended program that we offer in our campus with the tie-up with one of the universities which is offering such vocational degrees to the students. Now that vocational degree has come out to the professional degree now, what happens is 1 year there are 2 semesters, and this 2 semesters, 3 months studies, 3 months skill-based training. That is, the students are allowed to go out in the industry, visit these places, work with them. Based on their work experience, they're supposed to submit the projects to us. They are interviewed. Their viva is conducted. We understand the knowledge that they have, and the lecturers. There are common subjects which the college lecturers take their lectures, and there are professional lectures which the industry expert comes. As we invite them, they come, they deliver the lectures wherein the students' queries are catered to. So this is a small experiment-based studies that we have started in our campus, and I hope that such kind of studies, such kind of skill-based programs should be encouraged in many other campuses. I would not like to specify the universities because I don't know whether I can do that, but there are many universities. There are many other universities in India today who provide such kind of arrangements, and such kind of arrangements are not known to all of the students. So we as a service providers for the students should encourage such kind of studies, such kind of degrees, so that we can reach out to bridge this gap between the education and the industry, okay, which gives a Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're audible. Yeah, please
Okay.
do, ma'am.
Sorry. So we have to encourage such programs where such kind of facilities are there, which will help us to bridge the gap between the education and the industries. This is what I wanted to share from my side, because as a small initiative we started, it gave us lots of difficulties, because convincing the parents to move on to a different university is a challenge. Monotonous behavior, but why are the education monotonous behavior, but why are the education industry, education institutions having the monotonous behavior? Why? Because the parents are not ready to accept it. To make the parents accepting this kind of arrangements, to make the we have to make the students, the parents understand these kinds of needs, this kinds of the technical skill that is needed for the students to move out in this market to get the employment, so that they can handle all the challenges that are there in front of them when they are employed. May it be a professional skills, may it be a industrial skill, which is very, very important when a child is moving out. In what he carries in his CV is not only the academics, but how he can handle himself. Can he communicate in his skill language? Can he work there? Because these things are not taught in our textbooks. Professionals, yes, professionals. When we speak about, we talk about doctors. They have to follow a higher, I'm going to say a professional doctor. They have to study with him. They have to go. They have 5 years of another 5 years of rigorous studies. Plus, then they also follow the doctors. Then they understand. Okay, this is how you check the nerves. When they study in the books, they don't understand everything. Then they practice it. And then they come out as an individual doctor who is authorized to practice or open their clinics or go ahead with all the other practicing medical practicing things. So similar is the other industries also. Similar needs are there in the other fields as well. Because everything in the books, black and white, does not teach the students the skill, the knowledge, the critical thinking part, the technical skill part. So there, I think we all should encourage such kind of skills, such kind of degrees that can provide a blended program with theory, technical knowledge, soft skill development, and professional development. So with this, I think I will end my thoughts that I wanted to share, my experience over here. IDYM, I'm grateful and thankful that you all invited me and gave me this platform. Ravi sir, thank you. Anjuman ma'am, thank you very much. And all the speakers, thank you.
Yes, thank you, Fabina ma'am. Yes, that was really a great talk once again. Yes, of course, as you were telling that the role of parents, of course, sometimes the educational institutions, because I know even I am working in a higher education institute, so I know that we want to do a lot, but sometimes because we don't get the cooperation from the parents, we don't get that cooperation from the students, we are not able to implement so many things. And the other thing that you were talking about, exposure to the industry, yes, it is actually made compulsory in the curriculum that at the end of every semester, at least 1 month internship has been made compulsory for the students. But the thing is that what we believe is the students should take it seriously. They don't take it seriously sometimes, and they just waste their time. So yes, even the teachers, the college authorities, and the school authorities, they should be encouraging the students, because until and unless they go and have a practical experience, it is just a degree is not going to help. Thank you very much. That was really a great one coming from you. And let's move on to the next speaker, Dr. Frederick Ashu from Cameroon. Dr. Frederick.
Oh, yes, I'm there. Thank you very much. Our able host. And as I said, my name is Dr. Frederick Ebot Ashu. I'm from Cameroon. I'm a university lecturer teaching educational leadership. So today what I'm going to try to talk about is my experience of engaging our leadership students with the industry. I know our topic for today, it's establishing policies, higher education and the gap between higher education. So I will look on some of the policies issues of which we encourage all educational leaders and those who are studying leadership to be engaged in workplace. It is quite well known that standards, I don't know if in other countries they use standards, professional standards, but in principle, what we encourage students, there are some few points here which I will highlight, which when our students go for practical training in the industry, into learning institutions, or maybe the Ministry of Education here in Cameroon, where I'm talking from, it's so important that they know or learn about missions, the visions, and the core values for sustainable leadership or sustainable development. We also encourage our students to learn about good governance, about ethics and professional knowledge, and interpersonal skills, equity and cultural responsiveness, about how their curriculum lead to with the industry. That's what they learn in school and what they see in the workplace. So instructional assessments of how their study is going on. We also encourage our students to learn about community engagement, about the recruitment practices in industries, in educational establishment. What are the skills? What are the things that educational establishment or the Ministry of Education is looking for? So the recruitment practices and the selection. Then also about the school leaders, the teachers, and the students, and the community. So everybody seems to have his own roles. And we look on professional learning community. Professional learning community is something like what IDYM is doing. You know, engaging the wider community to engage into learning, into practical activity, to share knowledge about what is happening between the world of work and learning. So we also encourage students to learn about financial management, how educational establishment or the ministry hope that, you know, learning institutions should manage their finance. So other aspects of succession planning takes place within schools. It also takes place within the ministries. So all these things, students are encouraged to learn. So we also have things like school improvement for the future. The students we teach or who are in the university in higher education, they will be the tomorrow representative. They will be working in schools and some of them will be working with the ministry. So I will go forward to the first standard, the mission. It is just very realistic that we encourage every institution to at least have a mission, to have a purpose for sustainable leadership. If any learning institution doesn't have a vision, doesn't have a mission, it becomes very difficult. So these are some of the things we encourage the student to at least understand the mission and the visions of the organization which they go. And some of these things, they will look at them, probably get a copy and tick them to understand how to develop a mission or a vision. So we could talk about good governance. Good governance is a very important aspect of which most developing countries like Cameroon are struggling. So it's important that they learn about the how people use policies, how policies are being developed, how policies needs to be implemented, you know, in learning institutions. So going out there to see how the policies are being developed and how they are being used in the sense to measure governance when evaluation comes, it's an important aspect. So other important things are the professional knowledge and skills. You know, in most time in our schools, we teach the students quite a lot of theory, but the knowledge and the interpersonal skills, how to relate with other people, the interpersonal skills they learn among their peers or maybe with their teacher, it's sometimes different. because working environment, so it's giving them that opportunity where they go out there and learn how to relate, you know, socialize with those people in the workplace. I think it's an important aspect. Equity is something which is coming up very, very powerful in our learning establishment, you know, and cultural responsiveness. So effective educational leaders strive to understand equity, equality, diversity, you know, to be able to show that they can relate to all aspects. With disabilities, they can relate to people with different religion and have no bias. So they have to demonstrate that and prove with an evidence that I was able to do this and do this. So those are some of the things we encourage our leadership students to learn wider industry. So the curriculum, instruction and assessment. So I heard somebody already talk about curriculum. I said the curriculum design, sometimes we use some of these findings where the students bring and what we bring to develop the curriculum, to try to make sure that what we have in universities supposed to match with what is in the industry. Sometimes it's become difficult because what the student learn in the university, it's so different from what the industry is. It's so common in so many specialties because sometimes the knowledge that the student gain in the university, when they go out to the place of work, is totally something different. So they have to start afresh. So industries and educational establishment, there must be a bond, there must be a link, you know, so that they understand, you know, so what is going on here in the university should be similar. So the skills when the children leave or the student leave higher education, they can fit in immediately in workplace. So another thing is community engagement. So the idea of higher education and the industry, it's just a great aspect of community engagement, because some of the greatest aspect that what the students come to university is for a better future, to be better citizens in the community, to contribute, to help for development, to help for sustainability. So we go now to the recruitment selections. So some of these practices between higher education and the industry, that is where it gives some of them their first jobs. Because if they go to a learning, to an establishment or to an industry where they perform well, they create bonds, they create relationship, they create friendship, and those things sometimes relate to employment. So, and the selection criteria being very, because if a student leave the university and is good in what they are doing at the in the placement or in their practicum where they are, you know, some of these things comes up with a job. So it should be encouraged. So the leaders, the school leaders, teachers, students, and the community, there should be, we are encouraging an establishment. So the idea of IDYM encouraging us to talk about higher education and industry is an important aspect as well here in Cameroon. It's top of the agenda at the moment because we realize that a lot of students, they leave school and they are unable to get job. So teaching and learning must be, you know, be familiar, especially I'm talking in the background as an educator as well. So the relationship, there must be an established relationship between the school, the teachers, the students, and the industry, or called, say, the community. For this is all for sustainable development. So professional learning community, I think, is something which is becoming very popular. We are so grateful, IDYM, for such a platform about professional. We can share ideas here. We've seen what is happening in India, in other countries. We've just heard from different speakers from different nationality. I think it's a great learning curve, you know. So we are not only learning just between India, we are learning internationally. I think understand what other nations are doing as concerned professional development or the engagement of higher education and industries. So the financial management of stuff. So most schools or establishment, they get ruined because of financial management. So some of these things, if students are being trained, so they see what is going on, how people manage finance, I think it will give us more great opportunities, more industries. They will be able to go out there, become successful managers, our senior leaders in the future. So succession planning too, I mean, this higher education and the industry is also a good aspect. It encourages succession planning because at least employees already in industry, they can identify talents from those who are still fresh, you know, from the university. We all know that they bring new ideas and they can contribute and they bring all sort of good things. So it should be well encouraged in policies, and not only in India, in Cameroon and any other countries. So the last one, it also try to help in school improvement for the future. I think school improvement for the future will be one which I think the other speaker have said that, you know, students need to be well encouraged. There should be more practical still, more practical learning. There should be more opportunity where everybody has to live and get a job. Not the sense where some people would leave university with a lot of theoretical aspect, but they couldn't get a job. So I think higher education and industry, I think it's a growing trend. I think it should be more encouraged. I thank IDYM very much for this opportunity. I think this topic is wonderful. I thank all the listeners and all the participants who have also shared knowledge and understanding. I think it's a great topic. So I'm so grateful. Thanks very much, host. Thanks very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. And yes, as rightly said by you, IDYM is a great platform because here we are joining in from different countries and everyone has something different to speak. Though the topic is same, we have so many speakers, but yes, everyone has a different aspect. And as you were talking about now, the unique thing that you talked about was community involvement. Yes, that was again very important and we have to train them. There are so many things and this is an unending topic, we can say. Even if we have many more speakers from joining in from different countries, everyone will have something unique to speak on us. And that is the need of the hour, I think. And yes, this is a very great conference that is going on. And yeah, now let's continue with our next speaker, Nahid Reza sir. So I would like to invite Nahid Reza sir. Yes,
thank you, ma'am. Greetings.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, ma'am. Greetings. And, my sincere gratitude to Ravi sir for creating such topic and providing outstanding platform. And to you, ma'am, as well, because you are coordinating and anchoring so well. So my sincere gratitude. And Frederick sir has spoken at length about bridging the gap between higher institutions and industry, right? So if you like your work every day is holiday, this is my opinion. So first of all, we need to discover ourselves that what strength do I have in this. With strength, we should opt for streams. What is happening today? What strength I have? I do not know. So children should be authorized. Children should be given authority to decide their own. They should have proper decision-making skills. And it is not inculcated when they are in higher studies. It is inculcated from their childhood. So child should be given freedom to choose what child wishes to study, what child wishes to play, and in what activity child wishes to get involved himself with and in. Right? So today we are thinking that how can we serve the world? Serving the world means how can we be the master of anything which is there in our strength? So I would like to stress here rule one, that be the master of what you want to see. Then how can you be the master? First of all, we should see the purpose of our life. We should see the strength, and we should discover the skill which we have in plenty in ourselves. It becomes very easy. Many times what is happening, the input is very much irrelevant in the higher studies. Say, child does not have aptitude of pursuing engineering, he is pursuing. What is the result? What is the outcome? 15 lakh students are passing out as engineers. How many are employed? Only 20% at the most, means 3 lakh engineers are recruited and employed. Stress would be there, frustration would be there, because there is no alignment between skill and the work or demand or expectations which are there in industry. And today's era is very fast, where technology is doubling after every 18 months. And what is required? We need to develop our skills before we enter into industry, because plug and play system is at play. Means a student must be ready, employee must be ready to work and give the output. He must come, she must come with proper profile, aptitude, productivity, and skills, which is not there. Though higher institutions are planning, designing curriculum, and internship is very much in fashion. It was applicable earlier, it was applicable today, it would be applicable years ahead. But what is happening? Though we are stressing on technical skills, generally what happens, 70% theory is taught, 30% technical skills or practical things are taught. In spite of that, students are not getting recruited. Why? Because they may be falling in their soft skills. As sir has been telling time and again, leadership skill and communication skill and other skills. So people are hired for their technical skills and they are fired for lack of social skills. So we need to develop. So first of all, we need to have proper critical skills. Critical skills means variety of opinion should be at play, right? Variety of experience should we have. And ma'am, as earlier speaker told about the experiential learning, we should have experiential learning, project-based learning. If we are well versed, right, in that project, we should have collaboration, collective effort should be made, right? And if we start entertaining opinion of others, we may definitely be developing critical skills. And when we are on projects, we again develop critical and problem solving skills. It is very much required. Why? Because we are going to industry for solving problems, not to create problems. Please understand. So this skill is very much required, right? We should know, we should expert in diagnosing problem and giving solution, and we should solve problem. Second is collaboration. How can we collaborate with others? Right? Collaboration means sometimes individually we'll have to forget our opinion and suggestions and everything, and we'll have to go with the group. If this is happening, we can move ahead, because social skills are very essential skills. And creativity must also be there. When we have creativity, when we have new ideas, because everyone wants new idea, and that new idea must have value. If we are going to industry with value, and we are adding that value, and we are transforming the outcome, and we are developing our company, everyone would appreciate. For that, we will have to be the master of any one particular skill required in industry. One friend of mine was there, Mr. Sharma. He increased the size of the tank. He was in Egypt, I think, recruited there. So the owner was very happy. So we'll have to give solutions, right? In the same manner, we should have, as sir talked, we should have proper communication skills, especially listening skills. If you're talking to your colleague, so what we can do, we can apply a rule of 47 and 53 formula can be done, so that we can listen slightly more. Right? And generally we talk about, apart from that, generally we talk about leadership in billion dollar coach, right? Bill says, first we need to be manager, right? And thereafter, when everything is managed well, then we should move towards leadership. Because from campus to corporate, we cannot overnight, we cannot be leader. First, we should listen, we should follow, right? Lot many problems could be sorted out automatically when we start being a good listener. If we do not listen, we do not learn. If we do not learn, we are obsolete. And in 21st century, as Toffler stated, that who are the literates? The ones who learn, unlearn, and relearn. So these, because the economy of every country is getting doubled, even if in 2 decades, no problem. But every country is developing, civilization is moving ahead. So we need to change ourselves. We will have to be changed as educator also and as employee also. Right? Information in media. Today we are consuming lot many data, lot many information. If required, not required, through internet. So what is happening? We are wasting our time and we do not know our purpose. We do not know our objective. So we need to focus and laser focus that what we can do, because we should see what is area of interest, what is area of concern. So area of concern must be focused and we should try to eliminate what is not there in our control and what is not required in our industry. So, right, as Marcus Aurelius rightly said, we should work on what we can control. Social skills very much required, because there you are in society, you are an individual, yeah, you are independent. So we need to contribute socially to the entire group so that industry, company, and corporate unit could develop and establishment would give better results and revenue goes up. Adaptability, we will have to adapt to the ecosystem we are working in and working with people. Global awareness, and we should know trend, we should know direction, because direction is more important than speed. So we should know what is going on here. Right, decision making, as I stated earlier, decision making is required. Resilience, because for first 10 years we will have to sacrifice as an employee, because the learning phase is there, right? And we will have to focus what is required, how can I contribute, and how can I solve the problem of the industry. So these are all my points, right? Though I have got many points, but time is running out. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed. Thank you, IDVI.
Yeah, thank you very much, sir. And that was really, again, another energetic speech, I can say. And yes, we need to improve a lot. And well, all the education industry, it has been working to improve the skills of the students. And as rightly said by you, we are going to the industries to solve problems. We are not going there to create problems. So our students, they should be having creative thinking skills, critical thinking skills, analytical thinking skills, and yes, they should be problem solvers. So yes, that was the need of and it was really a very fruitful discussion today. All the speakers, those who have joined, they had very unique points. Everyone has come up with some or the other unique point. And yes, I would just like to add one thing to it. Like we were talking so much about about upgrading the students, upgrading the educators, upgrading the curriculum. So in this curriculum, I just want to add one thing, that especially in the higher education, and I could see many of the speakers were talking about engineering education especially. So regarding the engineering education, I feel that the syllabus that is being made, and that they involve mostly the educators, the senior faculties and all. So in that, the persons from industry should be involved, because the persons from industry, they know better what are the requirements of the industry. So when if the syllabus framing is done, so at that time the persons from industry should be involved. Well, there are expert talks. Every college, they have expert talks, and they call people from the industries to deliver their lectures. But the syllabus framing should be done according where the industry persons should be involved, and I think that will be a very great step. So thank you very much, everyone, and special thanks to Engineer Ravi Shankar sir for organizing a panel discussion on such a wonderful topic. And especially because if in India, if we see, we are the nation of youths, where we have so many youngsters and who are coming out, and with awareness, many youngsters are going for higher education. So there is a need that we need to bridge the gap, and this is going to be a very fruitful discussion. So anyone who is watching this video, either now or whenever they come across on YouTube, everyone is going to learn a lot. Thank you one and all for joining, and thank you for this wonderful
Bye-bye. Bye.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you very much.